Alright, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of the Table Talk Podcast. Yes, we are already on episode 39 of the Table Talk Podcast. Today, obviously, you guys already know, I am here with the little sis, Sada Thabit, and then I got big sis, Abid Thabit, and our guest today is Eman Ali Ahmed, the principal of Salina Intermediate. She is here. I mean, that's just a few of one of the titles that she has so far. We are going to get into all the other things that she does, mashallah. We're going to get into all that other great stuff. You know, we're going to talk about what it's like to be a principal at the end of the school year, because we know that could be hectic. We work at a school, obviously, as you guys know, so we know how it is. And, you know, my voice is lost because of all the things that has been going on at the end of the school year. We're going to talk about the best part and then maybe the hardest part of the end of the school year. I've heard that you coached, does some coaching, you know, athletic director, so we're going to get into all that great stuff. Before we do that, though, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors of today. My first sponsor of today is Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak. You know, Leo's, they serve delicious American style food, known for their conies, fried chicken gyro, breakfast, chili, and much more. You know, conies have been around for a long time, especially Leo's, but the best one of all to me is the one in Royal Oak. Shout out to Omar Al-Hadimi. Their location is 110 South Main Street, Royal Oak, Michigan. Their number is 1248-336-8093. Again, Leo's Coney Island in Royal Oak. Second sponsor is BC Adhesives. We'll get into them later. With that said, Eman, you want me to call you Eman or Miss Ahmed?
Eman is fine.
All right. You know, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, what you do and stuff like that? You know, introduce yourself to the people that are watching.
Thank you for having me, all of you. And it makes me happy to see other educators. I think education is an amazing and incredible and outstanding field, and I continue to advocate for more teachers. It is truly the best profession out there. You know, it's not about the income, it's really about making the difference, and that's it's such a fulfilling career. So shout out to all the teachers out there.
For sure. I'm happy that you started off with that too. I'm definitely happy that you started off with that. So what do you do and stuff like that? You want to say that?
Sure. I come from humble beginnings. My parents immigrated here in the early 70s. My dad worked at the local plant where they assembled cars, like everyone else. I think Henry Ford drew so many immigrants to this community.
Our dad worked at Chrysler, so we could definitely...
My dad worked at Chrysler as well, yeah. And just grew up in the south end of Dearborn, attended Salina, so coming back full circle as a teacher and now administrator is very special to me. My parents still live right across the street, and I just grew up watching Salina expand and flourish, and it's just, like I said, it's very humbling. I'm a mother, longtime educator, just like you. I taught first grade for 4 years and moved over to upper elementary for about, I would say, 10 years. Then taught 7th and 8th grade middle school, teaching the AVID elective, which stands for Advancement Via Determination, and it's an elective that focuses on reading, writing, and providing students with just an outlook on how to just be more organized and prepare more for high school and for college and for the real world.
Wow, what a good class. Yeah.
Truly, bringing colleges to speak to them, going on college visits, talking about what a dorm is, because we don't want the kids to kind of go into high school and wait until their junior or senior year to start taking things seriously, because it starts day one, freshman year. So getting our middle school kids to realize the importance of really being prepared and organized and have a strong start was the focus of the class.
Wow, that's actually very important, because a lot of the times kids go to high school and realize, like, oh man, I should have did better freshman and junior year or whatever, sophomore year, and here comes their ACT or SAT now. They're taking the SAT now, right? And they're struggling or whatever. So yeah, I like that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is an awesome
She wasn't done yet.
Yeah, but yeah, you want to continue on. You can continue on though.
Yeah, so just making sure that the kids are, just have that strong foundation going into the high school. And I love doing it. I really love teaching middle school. I think if you love teaching, you'll be great wherever your place. And so we were talking about teaching first grade and how I loved it, and I thought I could never do any other grade. And then moved up into upper elementary and just loved teaching upper elementary. And then middle school, I'm like, okay, this is where it's at. And then.
Go ahead, you can continue though.
And I was also a union rep for my teachers. And I think just due to like union laws, we know that the union has weakened a little, but I think just strength in numbers and really, being able to advocate for teachers. And I love being a teacher. I never thought I'd ever go into administration. I remember just sitting with my administrators and advocating for, preps to be made up and, so on and so forth. You know how precious our preps are.
Very.
So I remember my administrator at the time, my assistant principal, came into my classroom, Mr. Khalid Abdullah, who you all know. And he's like, you should apply for the administrative internship. And I was like, administration? That's not really my passion. I really love being in the classroom. He's like, it's a semester long and it's paid. And what's the worst that can happen? You do it, and you can always come back to your position. So I said, you know what? I'll try it, because I've always had a passion for teacher leadership. So that's something that I kind of maybe wanted to kind of venture out. And I'm a risk taker, so I thought, hey, what's the worst that can happen? Just trying it out, and you can always go back to what I have always done.
I'm sorry, technical difficulties never happen.
It's okay.
There you go. Should be good, but
noise, though.
if it does do that, if it does do it again, honestly, we could just take off the headsets. Realistically, it's not really doing nothing to what they're listening to, but it's probably just coming from here to our heads. So I just want to let y'all know. Okay. But I'm sorry. Continue on.
Yeah. So I then I was placed over at Dearborn High School, doing the high school, and then McDonald Middle School at the elementary. So they kind of give you a different perspective than what you're used to. And I loved high school. I'm like, oh wow, high school. High school is where it's at. So kids were amazing. And then I was pulled out of my internship to cover for an assistant principal at the time, and that was probably in November of that year. And then my internship turned into like being an assistant principal role at a local middle school in Dearborn. And yeah, the rest is history. So then I was basically put in as an assistant principal intern for that year, and then the following year I became an assistant principal over at a local middle school, Woodworth Middle School, and then even with just the whole principalship over at Salina, I remember looking at the district email, and thinking, when they posted regarding the principalship opening, and I remember thinking like, oh, I wonder who's going to be the next principal at Salina.
Yeah.
Wow.
And lo and behold, the amount of support that I received from just the staff, other administrators, and just the encouragement of the community saying, you need to apply. And I'm like, that's my school, that's my home school. I grew up,
Full circle.
Full circle, and I absolutely love it. It's a dream. My job, I don't feel like it's a job. I really feel like I go in and just, work amongst family. It's a family atmosphere. I love the staff, the students, my parents, the whole community. It really is a blessing.
No, as a teacher, you would want someone that's been in your position. You know what I'm saying? That's been through what you've been through, and then you were already saying that you were advocating for teachers even before you became a principal. And to be a principal in your hometown, in the school that you actually went to, it's beautiful. It's what it's supposed to be. Right,
yeah. Definitely. I think administrators should definitely have that teacher experience. They should know what it feels like not being able to go to the restroom when you want to, and just knowing what teachers go through, I think, is really crucial and important and imperative, in being a successful administrator.
Absolutely.
And think about all the people you inspire too, just by being in that role. All the women, especially Muslim women that are seeing you in that role, being from that community, from that school. It definitely probably gives them, obviously someone to look up to, a role model.
When I was reading your background, I literally was like, wow, mashallah, I can see myself in the future following her footsteps,
Right.
Yeah.
So, we were talking before this about, being a teacher, and if you are a teacher, you're doing it not for the money, obviously, it's for, what you feel and what you want to give back, and if you want to be an inspiration to the kids. And
we're dealing with human beings. It really is. Emotions, and so we're not there for company profits or working with machines or
you're building bonds.
Yes, it's a human-to-human interaction, teaching kids how to be good human beings, and instilling good character in them, and above and obviously the curriculum and essential standards and all that good stuff. But really making a difference.
They were saying they're like, you have a business, are you gonna stop teaching and focus on the business? I'm like, no, but I really love teaching. I really love being at a school,
Right.
So it's definitely something that you want to do,
And then, just growing up, I know you mentioned just of my upbringing. It's just like watching my father, I think a lot of our parents who immigrated here in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and we didn't have much support, We came in, they worked, but in terms of advocacy and in terms of just ensuring that our parents had the right and opportunities, to receive help, maybe applying, filling out an application or just receiving any kind of assistance. There's very little opportunities to help. And I know my dad was very involved with just making sure that our community was uplifted, and that specifically with the Yemeni community, they had a seat at the table. So just watching him, I think that really inspired me to just really get into the work of just advocacy and the humanitarian work that we do.
Yeah, and we're going to definitely get into that as well. I know you were talking about, you're right now that you're a principal at Salina right now. So what is it like to be a principal at the end of the school year? I had a show earlier this week, on Sunday, with the younger fellas, just talking about what it's like to be, student at the end of the school year. So, I wanted to do a show now with someone that is the head honcho of the building, right? Leader in charge. So what is it like to be the principal at the end of the school year?
I have a great team. I have a great leadership team. The staff is amazing. I have an outstanding assistant principal, the office. I mean, it really takes a village. I can't do it alone. So but 2 words, bittersweet, to describe it. We're really happy. Today we had 3 promotions. I attended 2 in my school that we, had to quickly just maneuver from being outside to taking it inside, and just make sure that the kids had an outstanding celebration of their promotion for 8th grade and then also for 5th grade. A lot of planning. Like I said, it takes a team, it takes a village to make sure that kids are successful, and these are the things that bring I think many administrators joy, is seeing the kids at the end of the year, the graduation, the celebrations, the ceremonies. But then it's also like crunch time, getting things in. We have a big summer program that's coming up, making sure that our staffing's in place. That it's a budget. Sometimes you got to make cuts, and making sure that we really, look at that. And so that's not the best part of my job, but it's definitely things that need to happen.
Yeah.
But really, just I think the best part of my job is just seeing the kids, succeed, seeing them learn, and just seeing them just have a beautiful ending to the school year.
And I feel like this year is a lot different because a lot of normalcy is back. I noticed that with just our school, that we were able to do a lot of things that we weren't able to do last year. Yeah. So it's definitely bittersweet.
Yes, I asked the kids during the 5th grade promotion, I was like, would you guys ever want to go back to virtual? And they're all unanimously like, no. I mean, it's
same
like you said, it's like we don't realize how kids need to be in school with in-person instruction, having those, like I said, the human-to-human interactions with their teachers, and not always be behind the screen. So kids really appreciate it. I think parents appreciated the teachers as well. And that's something I told the parents. I'm like, now, I think after the pandemic, we truly appreciate our teaching staff and what our teachers go through on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I've had a lot of parents really pour their hearts out, like, listen, like, we've seen the growth, because especially with 1st grade, the growth is there, but I feel like last year I couldn't do it they didn't grow as much as I wanted them to grow because of the whole virtual. But this year, they're amazing. It really is.
What is it like for you as a teacher end of the school year?
So, first of all, I don't know why this year we had to do an inventory packet.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of annoyed by that, but we had to do an inventory packet, which I was really confused about, and it came out of nowhere. But just for you're trying to have fun because it's the end of the year. You're trying to celebrate them. You're trying to I don't know. I do a lot of TikToks and I interact with my kids a lot. We're always doing something hands-on. But with this year, it was just, I feel like it went so fast. June was just like a blink of an eye. It was a lot going on with the whole school. We had an end of the year school field trip, but it's like trying to clean your classroom and organize and get it ready for summer school, like whoever's using the classroom, and then trying to make sure the kids are having fun and still, are entertained or just enjoying the end of the year. Just all the paperwork. I hate doing paperwork, whether it's doing grades or just, the end of the year stuff.
I used to love the end of the year.
Yeah, I was going to tell you something. I want to ask you for your
it's definitely fun.
It's so fun, and, it's bittersweet, like you said. A lot of them, especially when you're in elementary school and middle school, you're going to miss your friends and whatnot and stuff like that. Sometimes you want to kind of, force yourself to summer school just so you could see them. But, I loved it. I remember the memories. They were great.
Best memory that you had at the end of the school year?
Okay, it's really hard. You hit me with it. I don't know. I loved it.
Probably the trips and the celebrations and just the time you spent.
I didn't like high school. I hated high school, but like I was saying, middle school and elementary school, I loved going to Bridge Academy. We had amazing teachers, and they were so sweet. And we always had fun. Every single day was fun. I loved going to school. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it.
Well,
What is your favorite
what?
thing about, like, your favorite thing about the end of the year?
The end of the year?
Summer vacation.
It being the end of the year, is that an answer?
Do you enjoy doing field day? I want to ask you that.
I'm gonna be honest with
Coordinates
you.
field day.
Obviously, yeah, it's just a lot of planning that has to go into that. But of course, the day
It's
of
for the
it,
kids. It's for the
yeah,
kids.
it's for the kids at the end of the day. But going in, like the day of it is like the best day in the world because you see everybody having an awesome time.
I love film.
But obviously, just planning and organizing, making sure the staff members are in their right spots and stuff like that. You know, that's fine with me. You know.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My kids were excited.
Yeah.
They're mostly excited because we jousted together. The kids get a kick out of us being siblings in the same school, so it was hilarious. But I'm so sore. So
Yeah.
thank you.
We had firefighters come in.
Nice.
And spray the kids.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That was cool too.
That was cool. I'm gonna be honest
It
with
was
you
a good
though.
time.
It was a little like.
It did get kind of crazy.
Yeah, it got crazy. I'm watching my superintendent. I know he was just sitting there on edge because he was worried. I mean, because it was a little wild, but it sounded like that they are all still wanted to happen annually. Like every year they want to do it. So we'll see what happens.
It went better for the younger kids. The older kids, they got really.
Always.
Yeah. The younger kids look like they enjoyed it too.
No, the younger kids.
I mean, they all enjoyed it, but.
But it's a great idea. I mean, it's it doesn't cost anything
Yeah.
to have a
Exactly.
fire engine come and just spray the kids.
Yeah.
I think that, especially on a
I
hot
wish I
day like the last
experienced that.
2
It was
days,
Wednesday.
have
We said
let the kids know,
Wednesday.
hey, for something that you can just
Yeah,
go outside
that's what we
and
did.
get soaked and and we have a fire station down the street that can just come and just really
Yeah.
make that
They'll
connection
never-
with the community.
They'll never forget this.
Yeah.
They will never
For
forget
sure.
the firefighters came and sprayed.
Yeah, for sure. So, what is the best part about the end of the school year for you?
Oh, like I mentioned, just the celebrations, the
Okay.
the ceremony, the promotions, the events that we have, the trips.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The field day experiences that the kids have, and just really seeing them, really excited about, the end of the year and just really having fun and creating those memories.
I know what's my favorite now. Multicultural days.
Okay.
We didn't have one.
We used to have those, and they were so. I mean, you know how
Yes, I remember now.
fun. We used to have so much fun.
I was just
those were amazing.
looking through the pictures, and here you are in like 3rd grade with her little dancing with her friends.
Yeah, those are my favorite.
So, what, we didn't have one at Hanley?
I think we had only for 7th graders.
Yeah.
It wasn't a school wide.
No, it wasn't school.
No,
Yeah.
it's,
We need
it's
to-
so
we need to
important.
incorporate this
Yes,
going.
it was the funnest. Literally, my favorite memory of every single year. It was just so fun how each classroom had a different country and the music and the food and all that, and it's nice. Good question.
I do remember you guys, Bridge Academy you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember as I went to Frontier. I graduated from Frontier.
She's the one that was
yeah,
telling me.
celebrating culture is definitely one thing that we need to do more of, and
Yeah.
just acknowledging our differences and celebrating our differences.
I was actually going to mention to you. I'm sure all the parents love you because you live around the area. You know the people. You went to the school. You're very cultural appreciated. From the area as well. So I'm sure they appreciate.
Oh, I
that.
love my parents. I mean,
Yeah.
and that, we can relate. I can relate to their needs, and
Absolutely.
if they feel comfortable, I truly have an open door policy. And if there's anything that they need help with, whether it's economically or just help with anything that whether it's medical or just getting them rental assistance or just ensuring that we are the community school, not just a school, but a school community that can help provide them with where to go to seek help if they need food, if they need clothing, if they need like I said, rental assistance. Just ensuring that we provide them with the community resources that are available, because there are so many resources available in and around the community. So making sure that the school is that the middle person, and we have a great parent liaison who also helps our parents with anything that they need.
If you want your students to succeed, you have to think about the Maslow's hierarchy. If they're
Right.
not getting those needs, then
Well
they can't do anything else. So
Right.
that's great. It's amazing.
During the pandemic, ensuring that they had internet. Sometimes you think, okay, let's go virtual, but do all the kids have the means to go virtual? Do they have the technology? So and a lot of, like I said, many parents just feel comfortable coming to the school for help. Hey, I need a job. Where can I go? Well, let's look at the district. Maybe the kitchen is hiring, or maybe you can work as a para, or if you have the credits, maybe apply to become a teacher.
Yeah.
Or, maybe direct them to an outside agency who can take them to, on job fairs or, work that based on their skills. So we try to really help, everyone.
So you kind of mentioned your best part. Now comes the hardest part. Is it telling somebody that they probably won't be back next year? Is that, I'm assuming, the toughest part?
If we have to make cuts or just, depending on the budget, that's always the hardest part, looking at the budget. And I know, I think across the board, it's decreased. So just, it's like Tetris. We got to play around with it in hopes that we keep all staff in-house. And alhamdulillah, thankfully, this year we're able to keep everyone in-house. But that would be like the hardest thing, to having to say, okay, there's no room for an individual on the budget. And knock on wood, that hasn't happened yet. So I'm very grateful for that.
Do you guys sign contracts at the end of the year? Everyone re-signs?
No, but I used to do that at the charter school, and that was like the worst feeling ever.
Oh my God.
Not knowing, and you're looking at your colleagues, and
yeah. Did they call you yet? Did they call you yet?
So
let me tell you guys a funny story real quick.
See, that's why we have unions in the school. That can't. That can't.
That's good.
That's the best part of working with the public school system, is that you're unionized and you don't have that where you don't know if you're going to have your job or not.
Yeah. Now definitely they love us. I feel like we can bring the community into them. But anyways, when I first started at Hanley, I was still in college obviously, and I was doing part-time, and they needed someone to translate for the WIDA test. But it wasn't the WIDA test at the time. It was still the test before that, which I forgot what it's called right now. The ALPA. Yeah, there you go. So they needed an extra translator, so they hired me part-time. And I was young. I'm talking about, I was what? Well, 20, 21, whatever.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah, I first had started there. And it was just part-time. Literally, I used to go just to translate, and I would leave. And at the end of the year, they were like, I'm sorry, you weren't in the budget, so we can't bring you. And I was just like, dang, what did I do? I didn't believe them. You know what I'm saying? But the principal, Ms. Gardner, shout out to Ms. Gardner, she's not our principal anymore. She's in a different school, but she was the principal at the time. She was so upset. She literally called me the beginning of the year. She was like, hey, we have a pre-K position open. Would you do it? And I was so hurt. I was like, I already picked my classes. I can't do it. Because I was so hurt at why they let me go for no reason. But then she was like, okay, well, next semester, choose your classes after work. But we want to, put you in full-time, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, long story short, I ended up going back. I just had to, just a little wiggle room. But no, alhamdulillah, they do let you go in charter schools because of the budget. It's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
So it's not a funny story, but I guess it's...
Well, it's funny now. You feel kind of
now it's that would never probably happen.
Yeah. No, definitely won't. I mean, you ain't mentioned what's your best part of the end of the school year.
Just seeing, just celebrating with the kids.
Yeah.
I love field day. First grade, we went to the zoo. We did bowling.
Mm-hmm.
We just had a regular awards program, but we made a volcano. We did an egg drop. We do a lot of
projects,
activities and stuff like that. So yeah, I just love all of that.
Hardest part?
I already said it. The paperwork.
Oh, paperwork.
Yes. Just making sure grades are in, doing the inventory list. Awards. Making sure everybody retentions. Oh my God, alhamdulillah, I did not retain anyone this year. But yeah, retentions is the worst. I hate that.
Well, I'm not the only coach at this table, by the way. All right? We have another coach. We got Eman in the building. So you coached, athletic director too, by the way.
What did you coach?
Volleyball and track and field. Yeah, and
that's pretty impressive, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't know how do you coach track and field? This is a serious question right now. What do you really do? You really teach them how to
You build endurance. I mean, you just make them run. I mean, you just the more you run, the better you become at it. And
do you run?
Yeah, I do. I'm a runner.
Nice.
When I have the time. But yeah, I do love running. I enjoy it. But really just building momentum, and then you got to figure out who are my long distance runner, short distance runners. Who's good at high jumps. So every girl has her own her own thing, her own talent. Some of them just prefer long distance. So those are my 2-mile runners. Some prefer short distances, and then I kind of just, based on practice and based on how they do, then place them in their certain, in certain categories. And then the field, the high jump, long jump, shot put, just really building endurance and practicing. So.
You enjoy coaching?
I do. I started out with volleyball, and I just remember being in my school. My school was a 4-8 building. At the time, I taught elementary, and I'd go watch their games, and our school at Salina, it's a smaller school. It's one of the smallest schools in the district, and the odds are against us. I mean, many of the girls don't participate in like, Little League, or they join sports as kids. Many of their moms are, stay-at-home moms, so they don't have those opportunities as young children to be, to play organized sports. So a lot of times it's middle school and it's like their first time playing an organized sport, playing and competing against other teams. So I remember just back when I was teaching after school, I would kind of just go and hang out and watch their watch their games, and just to support. And there was just the way they played. There was just no consistency. They were just kind of they were playing sloppy. They were mismatched with their uniforms. And when they would lose, which they lost predominantly most of their games, they would like slide. For volleyball, they would slide under the net with their knee pads. Like, it was a joke. And I'm thinking, they just lost. Like, why would they celebrate?
Yeah.
At least humble yourselves and just talk about what can you do exactly. So I remember when the opportunity came, there was a building email saying, who's interested in coaching? And I thought, I just asked my athletic director, Colleen Cook at the time, and I said, so what does this entail? She's like, what, it's yours. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, can I think about it? She's like, nope, you're doing it, and that's that. And I tired that because she came back as a PE teacher to work with the ASD kids, and I'm like, hey, remember the time when I asked you? And that led to like me coaching.
Yeah.
So, and the rest was history. And I remember like loving, I was very active as a kid, regarding sports, playing sports, whether it was volleyball,
Did you grow up with brothers, or?
I had two brothers. So playing outside, my dad used to go to the health club, in a local health club. We'd kind of go with him and play tennis or basketball or go swimming as kids. So I was very, we were very active as kids. We'd play baseball, go rollerblading. My parents really encouraged us to just, really take advantage and just be physically fit.
Yeah.
So, the rest was history. I mean, I remember just, like researching volleyball and just really, coming up with a team. Because as you know, as a coach, you really rely on your coaching team.
Yeah.
People like on my coaching team was like Seven Matthew, who played high school volleyball, so she had the experience of what what it entails to really win, and amongst other girls. So just really putting in the time, putting the effort. We really took advantage of practice and held high standards, and it's about changing the mindset, because the girls always thought like, hey, we'll never win.
Yeah.
And I remember like one time on my phone I had the Muhammad Ali quote, I hated every minute of practice, but work hard now and live the rest of your life as a champion. And that's something we kind of live by. Really working hard, being on time for practice. And if they weren't, we'd run suicides.
Nice.
I know,
You definitely coach it out to be scared of, by the way.
No, we had to have firm rules and expectations, and at the end of the day, we started winning. But again, it's also about changing that mindset. If you tell a kid you're going to win, they're going to win.
Yeah.
You will achieve. 100%. As Eminem says, I am whatever you say I am, huh?
Yeah. So, I'm not going to lie to you.
Really, if you tell a kid, hey, you're not going to make it, you're this, that's why words matter. Words,
100%.
Words are powerful, and really getting these girls to realize, hey, it's, you will win. You will be the better team. But you got to put in time. You got to really take what, we give you, like when you coach them. Because during the games, we'd kind of analyze how they play. Like, is this girl needs more, practice with her bumps or her sets or her serves. And then during practice is when we really it was data. It's like, when you look at data with your kids in the classroom, like, what is it in reading? So they're a poor reader. So what about reading that they're not achieving or they're not getting? Is it because they're not, looking at the picture, for example, in first grade? Are they not going back to reread? Are they not,
context clues,
is it words? Is it words versus phonics?
That rhymes, yeah.
Is it, you have to review the sight words. So during practice, it was like, okay, these girls need help with X. These girls need help with Y. These girls need help, and then just really working with them, and then making sure that they, we move the needle when it came to making them better. But like I said, more importantly, more than anything, it's really that mindset.
Yeah, for sure. And I could go on and on how I compare coaching with teaching as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely something that I can. A lot of correlations.
Or PLC. Are you familiar with the PLC process?
Yeah.
The 4 questions. Yeah. What is it that we want them to learn? What is it that we want them to achieve? Right.
Yeah.
How will we get there? And then how will we challenge them if they know how to get there? Like, if maybe a girl's good with her serves. Like, how we're going to make, how can I teach her a power serve or a jump serve, or just really improving with what they're doing in terms of their techniques with the way they play.
Yeah, for sure. My wife said, mashallah, that's awesome. The reason why I guess it was when you started talking about coaching, because I know my wife would love to coach. And it comes up with a question in my head now. Sada, would you coach a team? And
Yeah.
do you see yourself coaching it? Like, do you see yourself coaching a team?
I would totally coach a team.
What team would it be? What sport, I mean?
It wouldn't be basketball. No, it wouldn't be football. I would do basketball or baseball. Volleyball sounds fun too, but I don't know anything about it. At least baseball and basketball, I know some stuff about it. But football, no.
How do you know stuff about baseball?
Because of Ahmed Thabit. I used to be his little kitty behind him with everything he used to do.
Baseball's fun.
Yeah.
Grew up playing baseball.
Yeah.
It's so funny because this is a funny story that like if I was out, I used to just call her and like when she was at home just so she could give me like what's going on like in a game. So like I
That's
taught
funny
her how to
because-
read like how like you know how like a scoreboard and baseball can be kind of difficult because like there's a top of the second inning, bottom of the second inning, strikes, outs, all that stuff. So I used to sit at home and teach her what everything meant, so just so I could call her and be like, hey, what's the score and who's on the
It's
base.
funny that you used to let me do that because we didn't have like touch phones or internet and
Yeah.
things like that, so it had to be a phone call.
Yeah, it had to be a phone call, and she had to wait until the commercial comes back sometimes, and we had to see the scoreboard and
And
everything
then
like
the
that.
chanting at home together, he taught me all his chants.
Big game, you know, sports definitely take over our lives. Can you see yourself
But
being a
no,
coach?
coach is fun.
Remember I was assistant coach.
Oh yeah, you were.
Basketball?
Of course, then we ended up having a pandemic. As soon as she
I
was
was so excited. Like, you don't understand. Like, so I grew up with all boys.
I can
but
see you with your whistle and you're just, hey, let's
Yeah.
do this.
Girl, like,
Jumpsuit.
my son plays all the sports, like everything, and I'm at every game, and I'm that mom that will
go on the field and
Go
yell
on-
at the referee. We just had a recent thing happen. I'm on the field, you know, talking to the referees. All I see is her. I got it on video. She's like right there next to me. That, you know.
Because first of all, they didn't want to say it was fourth down. It was already they already had fourth down. They wanted to give them extra down. I'm like, no, like that's not fair. Like, my thing is about just be fair. Like, don't cheat our kids out of a game.
Right.
You know? But anyways, all of them. But it was such a big deal to me to coach girls basketball because growing up, I grew up with, you know, my brothers, and when I was in school, like, me playing a sport was not even I couldn't even ask to do that. Like, it's out of, like, what are you thinking, you know? So to be able to, like, coach the girls and then have Yemeni girls on the team, and I was in every practice, I was doing all the drills with them. Like, I was learning with them because eventually I was going to end up, you know, taking over. So I'm like, well, let me just, you know, learn.
It's
and
funny that you mentioned that, yeah.
And girl, just the pandemic happened, and it was a wrap.
Yeah. So going back to coaching, it wasn't like, so basically we are the smallest middle school, so our pickings are slim. Mm-hmm. And like you mentioned, like a lot of parents are still not comfortable with their girls, you know, being in an organized sport or just whatever the reason is. And I remember having to, I'll call you, you know, if a girl was really good, hey, I'll call your parent. You know, I work with the parent liaison, let's call this parent. You know, I used to drop off girls at end of practice just to, you know, make sure that if I tell the mom, hey, I'll drop her off, she'll be safe, she'll be home, and just so that kind of encouraged moms to allow their daughters to play sports. And it was basically whoever joined made the team. There wasn't like a cutoff, you know, like tryout, you know, when you have tryouts. So we had tryouts, but basically, you know, if I needed 18 girls, I can barely get 18 girls to play.
Yeah.
So everyone made the team.
Yeah.
So.
And it's good too to do that for future reference.
It's you don't understand how important that is to be able to call.
So it was like everyone was there.
home.
So I'm sorry.
Like to call parents to be the advocate for that little girl, because it's so hard when you know your parents are gonna say no to you. Like I hated rejection. I would not. People tell me all the time, the worst thing they'll say is no, and I'm like, oh my god, like
Exactly.
that's the worst thing.
That is the worst
I don't want to
thing.
hear that. Yeah. To have someone, you know, that's from the same culture as you, you know, that understand.
Letting them know it's going to be okay. You know, where you know.
And parents listen. Believe it or not, parents listen to teachers.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just an extra pay assignment. I really wanted to just go in and make a difference and show our girls can do it too.
Yeah.
Our girls can, you know, will make it. Our girls will
And maybe even
win.
better. Yeah.
I mean, I just wanted them to, if they're going to lose, at least look good losing. And maybe win a game or two. That was like my goal. My
I'm
first year
sure-
of coaching. So my first year, we were like third place in the district, which is huge out of 7 middle schools.
Yeah.
And then the following year, year 2, we were runners up, second place. And then
You end up winning, didn't you?
the third year we were undefeated.
There you go.
Undefeated first place. So that's something we really
Yeah.
alhamdulillah. So
I would give you claps.
and
right
then
now,
since
Bob.
then, I mean, the girls just kept that momentum, and the boys kept that momentum, and they just, you know, continued to win and continued to make, you know, things happen, and because they saw, hey, we can do it, we can win.
Yep, I got you.
You know, mindset is important.
Definitely, and you getting in their mindset, I think is very important, like you just said, and as long as you can change their mindset,
Right.
you can do anything.
And I'm sure.
And that's
the
with
girls-
academics, telling the kids, hey, you can be on the honor roll, you know, and I tell the kids all the time, it's not about, you know, no one is born smart. That's a message that I give to kids all the time. No one is born smart. It's how hard you work. You know, it's, you know, the questions that you ask. So just getting kids to realize that, you know, everyone has an equal opportunity to achieve greatness, to be someone, to achieve academically, to get that 4.0, you know.
No, this year, for the first graders, I started something different. First of all, we do stretches every morning in class. Doesn't have to be, you know, in gym. And then we'll do hookups where they'll, like, their breathing techniques and all that good stuff. But, like, during the breathing techniques, I started giving them affirmations. Like, you are smart, you know, you're going to work hard, you're going to have a good day, you're going to make friends. Like, you just feeding that into them. I swear to you, the biggest difference I've ever seen in the past 7 years. Like, literally. Like, just, and then I would ask them, like, well, how do you guys feel when I tell you these things? Like, we feel like we're in the clouds. We feel like, you know, like, you know, and the principal, when she comes, she's like, you have the most, like, they're so, confident. She's like, they're so confident. They're so, like, literally, like, cocky. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're ready to do anything. Like, they want the challenge, you know? When I was like, I have a challenge for you guys, like, they're down. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, as words are a big thing.
It's true, and that's something that I try to do every day. You know, most days, either myself or I'll tell if I'm in a meeting, I'm like, hey, can you do announcements today? Making sure that we have a voice that all the kids can hear. Like, imagine having that PA system. You have a PA system in your school, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
So really just utilizing that and telling the kids, you know, just like a positive message. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. You know, remember to be kind, be respectful, be responsible, be safe. You know, we love you. Be proud to be a Salina Wildcat. So just those affirmations, just to kind of remind them, you don't know what kind of day they had coming in. Yeah. Maybe you know, an argument with a parent or a sibling, or, you know, so just to let them know, hey, everything's going to be okay, and just to remember how to be a good student, a good human being. So.
I love that.
Yeah, affirmations. I mean, honestly, adults love it too. So let's be real right now. You know, we hear it from people. It gets us going, gets us moving.
We're actually trying something new, just to kind of, you know, talking about changing mindsets. I mean, think about, you know, I know you see all the kids in your school, I'm assuming, for physical education, but like that kid that probably didn't behave the best in kindergarten is probably the same kid in 5th grade. So what are we doing to change that? Are we going to continue to, you know, discipline them? You know, give them detention. Like, how do we end the cycle? So this year, we kind of put together this positive, you know, incentive room. So, like, that frequent flyer is all of a sudden doing great things, or, you know, being nice to his peers, or, you know, improving academically. It's a ticket instead of a ticket to detention. It's like, or, you know, a referral to detention. It's a referral to that room, and it's like a gaming room.
That's
you know,
so cool.
With
I don't know, just gave me
gaming room, but without the technology. So just a lot of fun, like foosball tables, table tennis, you know, like at Chuck E. Cheese, how they have the basketball game and things. So just making it like a fun place for them to be, and really acknowledging what they're doing right, you know, the positive behavior. So that's going to be kind of our implementation starting next year. So instead of sending them to a detention room, sending them, so this is going to be a trial to see. Because I remember as a 4th grade teacher, I'd pick up their record, and it's just the consistent behavior. So how, like I said, how do we end that cycle? And
who watches over that room?
No,
because seriously, I was going to tell her.
So we have someone designated to do detention. So that would be like just a swap, and just instead of doing detentions, you're going to be monitoring, or myself or my assistant principal. Yeah. To just
you see it at Hanley
volunteer and really, you know, oversee it. So we're trying to get funding and reallocating some funds to, and then also relying on donations from local sponsors to help create like a cool space for the kids. Our art teacher is going to create some abstract art on the wall and make it really a fun place for them to be. Yes. But acknowledging, you know, what they're doing right, and
focusing on the good.
Focusing on the good, and, you know, letting the kid, you're a good person. A lot of times it's like, you know, you know, I'm a class clown. I'm going to be a class clown. You know.
So you deal with middle school. Do you see a difference? Because like I have a son. He's in 7th. He's going to 8th grade. And he, like growing up, he never had detentions, never had silent. We have silent lunches in our school, which I really don't like. But
silent, where they're completely silent.
Yeah.
No, we don't. My noon hour supervisor, like, it irritates her when they're all talking and stuff. I'm like, listen, we tell them throughout the day you cannot talk. You know, you have to listen to instruction. You have to follow directions. That's our time to really socialize. So, as long as they're not doing anything crazy, they can have a little fun in the cafeteria and socialize with their peers. And so.
Yeah. Anyways, but I've noticed. Now that he's in middle school, he does like, you know, he starts to try to make his friends laugh and do unnecessary things that he normally doesn't do. So this right here, like knowing that there's a gaming room, like a game room that he can go to, like I don't know, I feel like that would be a great thing for middle school.
No, I think that would be an awesome thing.
Interactive. There'll be cards, checkers.
Like there's nothing for them to look at.
Like a Lego board, because we have also 4th and 5th grade. It's intermediate, so 4-8 buildings. So just having things, and then maybe asking them what do they want to see in that room.
Yeah.
Outside of technology, we don't want any like game, PlayStations or Nintendos or.
They're expanding our building. This is why I'm thinking about like they would probably be down. They could probably put it in one room.
So we are very limited. Like our teacher right now is on a cart, but they are expanding like 6 other rooms. But they want students. Charter schools are very driven with numbers.
Right. And I told teachers, hey, listen, if you need a break and you need, you're having a bad day, if you want to go in that room, enjoy.
Yeah,
of course, after all the the planning, all that.
Gotta make sure you mention that. When's your last day of school? Is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, same for us.
So today was a long day, but it was so worth it.
The last full day.
It was a last full day, yep.
Yeah.
Full of celebrations and just, seeing the parents and seeing the students.
Well, listen, in the education field, Mrs. Eman over here, that is not the only thing that she does. We are now going to shift into outside of the work environment, which we still are working, but, So back in 2020, you gave the opening speech to Bernie Sanders, all right? I want to know, there you go, all right? I want to know, how were you selected, and what was that like?
I think it's just through my advocacy work in the community, just, maybe the connections that I've made and the networking. And I think with just looking at the, Bernie Sanders and what he stood for is all about, representation. I think he aligns with making sure that everyone is represented in his in his team and what he stood for. I remember my speech predominantly was talking about, how we finally have as someone who's visibly Muslim, bint Arab, we finally have a seat at the table. And where most, politicians will want to kind of shy away from that to get more votes, he was like, no, this is, we want to see. You want to see diversity on the team. You want to see, celebrate our differences. And that's what the United States of America stands for.
Yeah.
Different people coming together and making this one of the greatest nations on earth. And so it just makes me happy that we could have had a president that really
cared.
Exactly. He cared, and I think that was the reason why I was selected as just, someone who's visibly Muslim, someone from the local community.
So who reached out to you?
A good friend of mine, Ahmed Zahed. He's a lawyer, community activist, and just a longtime friend of our, he does a lot of collaboration with the United Humanitarian Foundation and just advocacy, any kind of advocacy.
Yeah. And so my question would be, did you feel like, was this the most pressure speeches you ever gave, or was there other ones that probably had a little bit more pressure, or? I mean, that was huge.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of people that came in and the setup, and it was like, it's things you see on TV.
Yeah.
So
and opening, by the way, too. Though.
One of the opening speeches, yes.
Okay.
One of the opening speeches. So it was truly a blessing, and definitely memorable. And it was right before the pandemic. I think it was like March 6th of 2020. So
you shut it down.
We shut it down. Yes. We have a speech, and I'm like, mic drop, and that was it.
How do you prepare for something like that?
Like I said, I think my speech was predominantly talking about representation and how, I was a daughter of immigrants, and my father worked at a local factory out, with the auto plant. I mean, that's what Detroit is predominantly not known for. And I just talked about my experiences, and really proud that we have someone who recognizes, all walks of life. No matter what your religion is, no matter what your race is, that he's going to ensure that everyone has a voice, and he stands for the people.
Yeah.
So.
No, definitely. I'm just wondering. I have to ask this question, okay? Because I know what Bernie. We know what Bernie stands for. If Joe Biden came here, would you, and he asked you to speak, would you have stand up and spoken? I mean, not to get into like what they all stand for and stuff, but I know that Bernie, obviously, like you said, he made it his thing to go out his way for the Muslim community and kind of stand for the Muslim community. So if another president were to come here and ask you to speak, would you actually like sit back there and be like, you know what, I don't like what this person stands for, I'm gonna decline it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's important. I want you to say the answer because for some people it's a yeah, no.
It's not about there's also ethics involved. So I just kind of follow what they really stand for, their platform, and not to say that one's better than the other. Sometimes it's like choosing, you're between two and it's choosing. But I think really like seeing someone like Bernie Sanders, he was just one of a kind, and he was the voice of many. So So I actually was asked to be part of Governor Whitmer. Sorry, Gretchen Whitmer's Arab American Leadership Committee.
Oh wow, mashallah. I didn't know that they had a committee.
Right.
Is this something new or?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
They've probably had it in the past, but then I honestly, when I found out more about what she stood for and the stuff that she was doing, and going against those who boycott, products, with that are supporting like Israel and stuff, just really kind of her stance on that, and I just kind of stepped down.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not about, political pictures and photo ops, and it's like really seeing what the candidate stands for or the politician stands for, and,
You're putting your name next to it,
Exactly.
And when you do that, you're pretty much representing, like, hey, I represent this person right here, so I understand. That's why it's important to ask that, because there are people out there that they'll do anything,
Right.
as long as they, like you said, they get that photo op, they get their
Right.
name out there. So I'm happy that you.
So I stepped down during like the Palestinian rally when I spoke, and I publicly made the statement. I just hope that my fellow colleagues would, until she changes her views on things. I mean, not that we're not supporting her, but when she needs to kind of vocally stand against injustice,
Yeah.
It's not about money or power. It's really about doing the right thing at the end of the day, and that's something we want to instill, like I said, in our children, and our students as well. Is do the right thing. It's not about who has more money and who can contribute more to your campaign, but are you doing what's right for humanity, the greater good?
And speaking up for that too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of
and you may get backlash.
students
You may get
are
backlash,
afraid.
and that's okay. A sign in my office is stand up for what's right, even if you're standing alone.
Yeah.
Being a
So
voice
that's
for the
something,
voiceless as well.
and that's like a reminder for myself and for my students is, hey, sometimes you'll be by yourself. And that was part of my speech today, is telling the kids, like, you may see something, kids are destroying a bathroom, and, I was trying to break it down to their level.
Mm-hmm.
Destroying a bathroom, are you just going to join them, or are you just going to stay quiet, or are you going to report it? There's a difference between, snitching and reporting something. Or you see bullying that's happening, are you going to be the upstander and report it? Well, first stop it, and then report it. Report it so it can stop, can stop it from happening.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to see you in the future take out when you see something wrong, or you see someone getting into a fight, or you see an accident, you pull out your phone and you tag, TCD or whoever you tag. It's about rolling up your sleeves and taking action, and making a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, TCD knows everything.
They do. They're great people. They're great people.
Yeah. They find out
TCD,
everything.
TMZ, they're the TMZ of Dearborn for sure. They definitely have all that. What is that?
They keep us in the know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's not the only elected official that you've worked with in the past. You also were asked to be on Mayor Abdullah Hamoud's transition team. First of all, Abdullah Hamoud, inshallah, he'll be actually on our show at the end of the month. Just want to spoiler alert, and he will be here, I believe, whatever that Tuesday is at the end of the month. I think it's the 28th. What is that like, And then how did you feel when he reached out to you? Did he reach out to you, by the way? Okay. So, what was that like? Or I don't know if you're currently still on that team, or
We still keep in touch.
Okay.
He's someone that I highly looked up to, even as a state representative. And he's a huge advocate. I mean, he reminds me of Bernie Sanders. Actually, people on his campaign worked for the Bernie Sanders campaign. And if I had to compare him to any politician, it would be Bernie Sanders, because he's all about equity and doing what's right. And not what's popular, doing what's right and making sure he makes a difference. And with his transition team, he wanted representation. He wanted people from all areas of the city, all races. I mean, there was like...
That's the only way to do it. People, I don't understand, like, if you want to be, a mayor of the people, you need to have the people, with you.
Be reflective, whether it's your administration, your transition team. So the transition team was a reflection of who the city is. So he made sure to have people from all walks of life, different races, different professions coming together and, having a voice.
Yes. No, I think that's a great idea.
Making sure that we put, place people that are also, not just having, diverse administration, but also a qualified administration, because qualification also matters.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. Well, this is a pause break. We are not done with the show. I want to give a shout out to the second sponsor of today, and also give Eman over here a break, because I know she's been going at it right now. We've been giving her all the questions. So shout out to BC Adhesives. They are a gold sponsor of ours, located in Franklin, Wisconsin. You can go to BC Adhesives for all your industrial adhesives needs. They do food packaging, book binding, product assembly, and many other industrial services. So if you are in need of adhesives for your business or having trouble with your current adhesive applications, you can contact them by phone 1-888-679-9825 or by website www.bcadhesives.com. Shout out to Matt, Terry, Ed, and Jake. Great people. Matt is going to be getting married this October, so it's coming up really soon. I know he's in that mode right now. Matt. Yeah, he's in that mode where, I can only imagine how busy he is, all right? So, going on to this, by the way, feel free to chime in any moment with anything that we're saying if you guys have any other questions to ask. Mrs. Eman, you are the Executive Director of the United Humanitarian Foundation. So can you tell us a little bit more about the organization, the stuff that you do? How in the world do you have the time to do this stuff?
That's how I knew you. That's knew of you. I did not know that you were a principal and everything else. So, mashallah, tabarakallah.
I was going to ask, mashallah, tabarakallah, how do you keep your energy up?
I wish I had more time. I think I was talking to someone, a friend of mine. They're like, we all. He was like, we all have the same amount of time.
Right.
It's just how you structure. Some people choose to binge on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, or maybe play sports or whatever it is that you want to do. But I really have a passion for the humanitarian work and ensuring that we're doing what we can here with the resources that we have. And we're like I mentioned earlier to you, we were so blessed with so many things in this life. So what are we doing to help others, to uplift others? So yes, I am the Executive Director of UHF Relief, or the United Humanitarian Foundation, and it's a nonprofit, a newly nonprofit. It's a grassroots initiative. We started out partnering up back in 2016, 2017 with other organizations, and with the connections and the network that we made, we came up with a stellar team. Shout out to my board of directors, who are outstanding individuals. And it's, like I said, there's a team, but there's a team. Just like in education, you have to rely on a team, and same thing with this line of work. It's really a team that makes a difference. All volunteers, and from our treasurer to our event planner to the person in charge of social media, and the liaison that we have that's communicating with the team in Yemen, and we're also doing work in Lebanon as well with Dr. Mehmet Hakim and Dr. Fadi, and helping orphans and getting them, helping them with education and their medical needs in Lebanon, and working with them to ensure that they're receiving help. But predominantly our work consists of helping during the worst and largest humanitarian crisis, and people don't realize that. I tell people, if you were to Google largest humanitarian crisis or Google the worst humanitarian crisis, Yemen is the first thing that comes up. But why isn't anyone talking about it?
Yeah.
Because we don't have blue eyes and blonde hair and light skin. And I think there's other needs, of course, around the world, but to be the largest humanitarian crisis, and no one is really
continuously be the largest,
and very little are talking about the crisis is really upsetting. So that's our focus, in helping those in Yemen who don't have the help or the means of getting help. A lot of times with our village, we're sending money, especially specifically with the Yemeni community, everyone's sending money to people they know back home to help in villages, but who's helping those who don't have the help?
Yeah, who don't have family here.
And just being in Yemen this past summer, overseeing the humanitarian projects, really humbled me. It just gave me a totally different outlook on life. The things that we complain about, I remember my first, when I came back literally I came back on a Thursday and went back to work on a Friday. So
how long did you stay in Yemen?
About 5 weeks.
Nice.
Where did you stay with family, or did you stay like
All over. We traveled to the different areas that where our projects are, such as like we have water tank projects all over Yemen. We have in Hodeidah we built already 30 homes, and first a set of 5, and then 25, and now we're looking to build about 75 more in the area of Hodeidah, and just visiting the families and just seeing how happy they were. I mean, I couldn't explain their happiness and the gratitude that they had. And, we complained about going, as educators, we complained about going from different systems and platforms of of technology, from Big Blue Button or Google Classroom or Schoology or whatever the case may be, and having to learn it and before being forced to learn it. But at least we had at least we were still educating our kids.
At least we have a job. We have
food.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So just seeing how we're always looking for things to it's just human nature. We're always like venting and complaining, and to see how happy they were despite having literally nothing. Bare minimum. Like you see like 2 families living under like a tent that was made, just made by them with straws and cardboard and and seeing the kids and how happy they were walking barefoot, and here I am with my walking around with my Nikes and trying to avoid getting the shock or the thorns in my foot, and these kids are running around like it's nothing, and just being happy, and then it asked the families a rhetorical question: what is it that you need help with? How can we help? And it's obvious what they need help with, but I just wanted to hear their perspective. Like, alhamdulillah, we have everything. They're just just
humble,
very humble, and very just grateful.
Yeah, grateful.
So that message, like when I was planning my beginning of this, school year PD, professional development, I'm like, one thing that I really want to stress on is gratitude. Despite being in a pandemic, at least we had, food. If you didn't have food or you didn't have a job, there were organizations that were providing food drives and food baskets and unemployment, and there's always assistance to help you, so just to be happy with the little that you have, and if Allah has blessed you, if God has blessed you, then just what are you doing with those blessings?
Yeah.
Are you helping others? Are you and I look at the families that we visited in the charity bakery, and I think that could have been me and my kids, that could have been us, So our parents were at the right place at the right time. Think about it, to be able to be blessed to come into this amazing country and the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
They don't have an opportunity, even if they wanted to work. And that's something I tell my kids sometimes when they come in or they're in trouble, they're sitting in my office. I'm like, how many kids wish they were in your shoes?
Yeah.
The amount of kids that wish they were sitting right here. And you're not taking advantage of your learning, not taking advantage of your, this education that we're so gifted with. We take things for granted. So yeah, it just really humbled me, and it kind of gave me a different viewpoint on life. And the little things, that we, our problems are so, are nothing really.
Literally.
Things that we complain about. We come home to a roof on our heads, food on the table, food in the fridge. My kids since have never complained about leftovers or not having, food.
Did they go with you?
They did, and I wish I took a picture of my daughter. My daughter, shout out to Sarah. Hates when I mention this, but she literally when she came into the house, the first thing she did was kiss the floor, the living room floor.
Oh. So. Wait, didn't that happen when we came back from something like that? Somebody did.
I wasn't a big fan of Yemen, so as soon as we came back.
No, I'm saying when we came back. Yeah.
We have a beautiful country, and I try to make, also show them hey, the beauty of our country, and took them to Old Sana'a and Souq al-Milh, and Aden, the Golden Coast was just beautiful. They rode RVs along the coast, along the Sahel, the coast.
Yeah, we need to
and
go to Yemen
took a boat ride. Everything's just so accessible, and just so the malls there, and just taking them shopping and the restaurants, and just our country is beautiful, and it's full of just beautiful people.
Yeah.
I think that's what Yemeni parents need to start doing more when they do take their kids to Yemen, is let them see the country. Because typically, I feel like, I might be generalizing right now, but the dads typically just do their own thing, kind of, and then the ladies kind of do their own thing. I think that they show the country, I never knew about Suqatra. I never knew about how beautiful it is.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't we go there? Why didn't we see places like that? I feel like we should,
Him and my dad, when we go to Yemen, we have a lot of family, and most of the time he's entertaining the family.
Right.
So we stay at home a lot.
Yeah.
So
You gotta enjoy the
we went
country.
to
though, right?
Taz, like we'll go to we went to the Korea ones, but we don't really.
Yeah, but sabir, having buying the
I
sesame
went to the
seeds from
Hadida, though.
Hadidas. Yeah,
Scary.
alhamdulillah, it was an interesting experience, and
No,
just
you didn't. That's not the Hadida.
Where did I go?
You went to it's like near Saudi.
I thought it was.
No, it's not the
there.
Hadida. It's not the Hadida.
Hadida. Yeah, it's near the coast. Hadida.
I was.
No,
10
she
years old.
didn't.
I thought it was Hadida.
No. You did not go to Hadida.
She's been telling her friends this story. She was
Listen, no. My mom has to have my
Text
mom
my mom,
comment.
text my
I don't have
mom.
my phone with me.
I'll text her.
Where did we
Sada.
go?
Sada. How do you know?
Because it just popped in my head.
She was posted it.
Oh,
Yeah, she was
Okay,
posted
yeah,
it.
that was a little scary. That was a little scary. It was a little bumpy on the
Yeah,
road.
I mean,
and-
Yemen will eventually. I mean, inshallah, like the people are just beautiful, and I think eventually
For sure.
we need
We
to work
live together-
together as muhtaribin to really help and find ways to really just make a difference.
No, our house, we lived in Sanaa al-Gadida. So it was very, very, very modern for that timing. We went 2008.
Yeah.
So it wasn't bad. There was no war. Everything was basically fine.
At that time, Yemen was at a kind of on an uphill,
Yeah.
of just becoming an amazing country
Yes.
economically, and
Yeah. It's just that, like we said, like my dad would just sit there and then like kind of
Yeah.
entertain his family because he hasn't seen them in forever as well. That we really didn't get to see the beauty
Right.
of it, the full beauty of it.
So
Yeah.
going back to like UHF, some of our projects include like the Cherry Bakery, water tank projects scattered all over, and
what is
it's
the cherry bake? You keep talking about
It's a
it.
free bakery that feeds about north of 3,000 people every single day.
Wow.
Provide them with fresh
That's a lot.
bread, and everyone gets vetted. Everyone, it's not
So
like
why
you just
cherry?
go. Charity?
Oh, charity.
Charity, yes.
Oh, I heard cherry too.
Charity,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
I heard
Charity.
Charity.
Oh.
Yeah. What do you think about charity right now?
No,
I
I
think it's
heard
cherry
cherry
bakery.
too. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just their name. Like
Or maybe y'all want some fruit. Y'all want some fruit. Is that what
it is cherry season.
Yeah,
so.
Charity Bakery, so, fresh bread, and at times they bring food as well to those in need. And then every 2 months they kind of make sure, it's kind of like just making sure to assess the needs of the family, and do they need more, do they need less, or maybe they don't need it anymore. So just making sure that, the right people get the help that they need.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is that for some people that's the only food that they probably get for the day.
Today.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that piece of bread, and that's why when you do see videos of them people handing the bread, like they get so excited.
Yeah,
and,
whether it's rice or meals, and
Yeah.
we do that from time to time. So, but just making sure that they have that, it's a support, and we're trying to expand that as well. Expand that. So in addition to just the food, we do food baskets regularly. Kiswat al-Eid. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes these kids, it's all they have. Really, 1 or 2 outfits a year. It's not like our kids where every time they're, hey, you see something on sale, you buy it, or mom, I need a new pair of pants, and you take them to like the local store. But really, they're dependent on their clothing that they get for Eid. So it's a big deal. And we all know how I feel when when you wear a new suit or a beautiful dress. I mean, really, it
Especially
really, it really, it hits differently. It just really feels good to put on that new outfit or those new pair of shoes.
Definitely.
So how do you
You have
pick
an extra. What do they call it? Extra.
oomph or I don't know.
Trying to think of the saying, but at the end of the day, it feels good, and these kids deserve it.
For sure.
So
How do you pick your the people that you're gonna help? Like, how do you guys decide?
So the team makes sure that they spend time like vetting the families, and they have they have a list of families in whatever area, whether it's in Sana'a, Tez, the Hadida. So just to make sure that they're reaching out to the families in need. So they go out the front line. That's what I love about my team. They're front line. They spend time making sure that they assess the needs. Focusing in on like orphans and women who are
Does your team live in Yemen?
yeah, they do.
Okay.
Yes, there's a team of about 4 of them, and they have amazing group of people. Really, I mean, going there and meeting with them and traveling with them, we were so grateful, because it's really hard finding. Your team makes a difference, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your profession is. Your team makes a difference, and it really, gave me assurance knowing that hey, it's someone that I can count on. They're reliable, dependable. Alhamdulillah. Trustworthy.
Because you have to you really have to trust them. Like, I remember my dad had so much problems with sending, like, when he would be in America and he'd have to send stuff to like build a home or to even give back. Like, it was so like you really trust people with this a lot of money.
It's an amana. This is an amana. Like when I feel like we're doing this kind of work, we're held at a higher regard because you're dealing with people's trusts, and we want to make sure that the amana gets delivered, and that's something that I take very seriously. And that's why we try, like, when it comes to sending money, whether we're wiring or transferring, we cover the fees. We just want to make sure, like, every donation counts. Yeah. So if we're marketing or anything that we do related to UHF, we try to cover it as, like, myself or other board members, just to make sure that, people, when I say 100% donation policy, we donate 100% of it.
Yeah.
So, because I'm going to be held, it's not this lifetime, it's the hereafter that we're going to be held and then accountable for every penny. So other things that we do, so that's a pillar, is making sure that we provide humanitarian relief and assistance. Another pillar of our organization is sustainability. It goes with the saying, you teach a man how to, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So the Women's Sewing Project, teaching women how to sew. And I've met a lot of those women. Yes, and I've met so many women there. Just hearing their stories was really heartbreaking. A lot of them are coming, down from Aden or Tez. I met a woman from Tez who's learning because she wants to provide for her 6 kids. And it really is just.
It's empowering.
To see that, and then, like, wow, we're helping teach her a skill that she's able to then make, a living. Yes, and other things that we're planning is teaching women how to make bahud. Bahud is huge in Yemen.
Yes.
And
it smells so good.
And then there's a lot of people who are asking for help on the streets. So how can we empower them, and teach them business, like basic business skills, money skills, and give them like a cart where they can sell whatever it is, something maybe that they're able to make or something that they're able to purchase and resell. So that's some of the initiatives that we have planned for sustainability.
I know a lot of, especially now, like, everyone loves to be a little bit more cultural. You know what I'm saying? Right. And there's a lot of things in Yemen that people make handmade. Like, imagine just to have someone in America that can, like, build an online, and just work on shipping with that person in Yemen. I don't know. I feel like that would be a good way to bring that in.
Yemen has so many resources, and hopefully connecting in the future. Some of our, like, long-term goals is making sure that we're connecting with the right people to ensure that it can expand coffee and coffee export.
I was going to say, that's already starting to...
let's not, grow beans and naqat, for example. We want to make sure to let them know, hey, you have this amazing resource that the whole entire world loves. Who doesn't love coffee, right?
I love it.
So, and then the fish, when I was in Aden, seeing the array of different fresh fish, being able to, like, literally select your fish, right, that was, caught during that day, and having it, cooked and sitting on so it was a beautiful experience. And so we have so many resources in and around our country that, we can just definitely really highlight and get the country to realize the resources they have and take it to the next level.
It's giving them hope for a future, because I feel like a lot of them, they're just like, like they live by the day, and
they're happy with what they have, and this is my nasib, this is written for me, and they're very content with what they have. But we can do more. We can do more to help them.
They should want it, because, like, if we want it for them, we can't really do much for them if we're the ones that want it for them. They have to want it themselves.
So we are an official 501c3, and we do a lot of local work, and our largest partners are the Detroit Muslim Center, and I've been working with them for over a decade, and just they do amazing work in the community. They're located right off of Livernois, not too far from Hamtramck, and they support all communities nearby with their weekly soup kitchen. We're in the process of creating some kind of closet where families can come and get what they need. Nice. And so that's another thing that we're working on, inshallah. So
do you have a website?
Yeah, we have a website, Instagram. It's currently being, we have a new person that's conducting our, overseeing our social media. So
yeah. I've known about this for a while now. I feel like you guys have been doing amazing things, alhamdulillah, in the community.
It takes a team. I'm telling you, I'm so blessed to have such an amazing, outstanding team. Now, the current people that we have, it's just, they're really dedicated. And it takes a special heart to do this kind of work. It's not for everyone. Yeah. It takes a dedicated, someone who's really passionate about making a difference and giving back.
Selfless.
So.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that you're doing tomorrow is you have a Hits for Humanity volleyball tournament.
Love the name.
Yes, happening tomorrow for all women. So, I seen, like, you guys got, like, mashallah, like 100 sponsors for this event. You guys have a lot of sponsors.
We have such a strong network in the community, and people are believing with what we're doing with our mission and vision and helping Yemen, and so it's it was just shout out to all the sponsors for the event. Really, they came through without hesitation, you know. And it's really the team of women who have been practicing for the last, I would say, 5 or 6 months. A lot of them who've played volleyball.
For this moment?
For this, yeah. For this, well, I mean, we've officially formed a league under the CRSD, the Concerned Residents of South Dearborn. And the United Humanitarian Foundation, and in collaboration, has formed this league where they're going to be playing for a long time. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll verse Hamtramck. So
is it one? How many teams are they going to be?
So there's currently 3 teams that we have, and they've been practicing. The MCs were there. I was just actually there right now. We have MCs who are going to be MCing the event. There's going to be music. They're going to be, cracking jokes, and it's going to be very entertaining. So I highly recommend. Sorry, it's females only. So
yeah, I've never seen that.
But it's it's coming together for a great cause, and at the same time, it's they're having fun. I mean, the CRSD has been doing the basketball tournaments for a very long time, for over 2 decades now.
Yeah.
So it's about time that we form our own female league, and
definitely.
It's all about having that balance, right?
What is your job? Are you just overlooking everything?
Actually,
are you playing?
So I was, I'm one of the leads on, the team. And actually, I was supposed to play, but every time I would open up for them and, the gymnasium and stuff, I'd end up going into my office and doing work and stuff. And it's just finding time to play. But I'm definitely encouraging them.
You should totally do the first hit.
The opening
first serve.
Yeah, the opening serve.
We'll see if they let me. I don't know. It's getting competitive between them. So
maybe just for the photo op, maybe just take a picture and stuff. You definitely. I think that's, first of all, that's awesome. What time does it start? I think you asked that.
6, yeah, Friday at 6.
And just from your flyer, it doesn't say a price to get in. Is it?
It's $10. It's $10, yeah. And all of it will go towards a housing project. We're currently building the 75 homes because we acquired land for to build about 100, and we built 20. We built 5 in another area, but we built 25, and then we have more land to build 75 more. So we really want to hit our goal before they begin, the building of these homes. So we're halfway there. We're halfway there. So hopefully, inshallah, by the next month or so, we'll be able to achieve our goal.
Inshallah, tomorrow.
And it's very heartwarming to see that these families, that are living under, cardboard and hay and grass are finally going to get a solid brick home with a bathroom. And hopefully we're in the process of also digging a well in the area that's going to supply homes not only to the housing, but also to other areas. It's a massive well. And it's really hard to build a well. I don't know if you realize, because of the terrain. I mean, in Pakistan, it's really easy, or other South Asian countries, it's really easy to dig a well. It's inexpensive. But in Yemen, you have to really dig, and you have to make sure that there's water. So it takes, engineers to make sure that there's, they're able to dig, there are the areas, suitable for building a well, and that there's water available, abundance of water. So that's part of our next project. But the housing project is really near and dear to my heart. That's something, because it's, you're providing shelter.
It's dignity, too. You're providing dignity as well.
Exactly. And every home has their own private house or their yard where they're able to, if they want to sit or hang clothes. And so it's, like you said, it's not a house where it's out in the open or surrounded. It's just every home, they're built in quads, and every home has its own private yard, hammam, living space, bedroom, alhamdulillah.
Yeah,
and like you said, I think dignity, you said it well said. It's about their dignity.
100%.
I might end up having you sign this paper right here because we might need your autograph just because I feel like
No, I really mean when I'm pretty average. I like just to fill up my time with just doing amal khair and doing great things for locally and internationally. So yeah, if you ever want to join the team, we're always looking for volunteers. So hello, Sala.
Definitely.
Welcome.
Definitely going to have to help out. It's funny. So for those that don't know, when we had our Dearborn versus Hamtramck basketball game, the 2 places that we donated to was Give to Gain and UHF as well. And he was telling me about you, Obed, that is. And, I was like, man, she sounds very familiar. Now that you say that you spoke at the Palestinian rally.
All 3 of them.
Yeah, I was there. I remember that. I do remember that.
And the Yemen one as well, in the cold. Remember when the snow? We were there.
Yeah, we were there too, in the cold.
It was cold.
I literally,
I remember.
I ran. I ran to the mic, and yeah, it was cold that day. I just remember it being very cold.
Snowing.
Yes, but we had to do it. We got to show up.
Sure.
It's about showing up, I
100%.
think.
For sure, because so the
reason
reason
a lot of times people say what's the point of going to a rally, or what difference does it make? You show up, you show your representatives hey, we matter. This issue matters.
Yeah.
So if you show up, things will happen. It's like voting.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Exactly, and part of AXPAC advocates for change for tomorrow, and it's a grassroots organization, and it's all about just empowering the youth, and like if we see like a youth that's got potential, and really kind of showing them how to be more politically active. We want to get the right politicians in place, into positions, and not just anyone. Yeah, start them young and tell them, hey, it's about being ethical. It's about your character, and making a difference in your community. So targeting the youth. Amplifying the women's voice and making sure that the women have a voice, and I see that you do that all in your show. So shout out to your brother Ahmed.
Listen, it was scary at first. I'm not gonna lie. Now it's like, oh, I don't even see the camera.
Yeah, but it takes people like Ahmed to do that, to say, hey, it'll be okay. You can have a voice, and what you have to say matters. So
I have a question.
Thank you.
Do you see yourself in politics?
No, I do not. No.
Well, you didn't see yourself as principal. At first.
I know. Many people have asked me that, and I really, I like to, more be behind the scenes, and just, if anything, I want to focus more on just humanitarian work. That's my passion. Yeah, my passion. That's where I want to just really dedicate my time. And I love my job. I'm telling you, every time I go into my building and just going into classrooms and greeting the families and the students.
Is it surreal to go into your building?
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
No, I'm very.
Like hearing that, just go into your building.
I'm very glad. See, this is what something like this has done. It has allowed us to get to know people.
Right.
Yeah.
We've learned. I know my sister Sad always says every time she comes to the show, she learns something new. Yeah. And one thing I do love is connecting with people, right, and knowing that there are people out there that are doing amazing things. And then hearing about it, showcasing them, and you
never know who you're gonna inspire. Literally, someone listening can be like, "What?" Doubting themselves, and then hearing what you went through and how you got to where you are, and just makes them wanna try even harder.
I hope your students are watching this.
Well, she could always make them watch it tomorrow, so that's a good thing. But the reason why I was saying that though is because for future reference, inshallah, we're gonna definitely. I could already see us doing some awesome things, and she's a huge humanitarian person. I love that too.
I have to organize my life. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. But that's been a passion of mine. Yeah. If people tell me, what job would you have if you didn't have to make money, it would be traveling the world helping people,
Yeah.
So, inshallah,
and that's the goal. And so, final word, believe it or not, I don't know if you know this. I know I probably told you, I think I told you probably only an hour. The show, it's a little bit over an hour, so I don't want to get your phone. I know you got to get home. She said she came straight from work to here, by the way, so she has not even been home. By the way, also give a shout out to her. It was supposed to be on a Tuesday. Completely forgot about Yusuf's graduation. I had to reach out to her, but mashallah, all the things that she does, she still said yes. So thank you. Thank you so very much.
You got to be flexible in life. So
I appreciate it.
Like I told my kids, we set up this beautiful setup. We rented chairs and equipment, and we set up in front of the building. My staff put so much time into making it look so pretty with the banners, and then all of a sudden it was rain. It started to just sprinkle, and then thunder and lightning, and it's we got to just roll with the punches. We got to take everything inside. We're going to go to the gymnasium or the auditorium, and that's part of life. It's just gotta. You have to be open to being flexible and have an open mind, and if you're able to make change, or change your schedule around, it's not the end of the world. So.
Well, thank you for that.
And that's what I told the kids. You're going to be faced with challenges. You're going to be faced with hiccups and bumps on the road. But what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and cry about it or complain about it? No, you just got to get up and recalibrate that's. So it was a great lesson to move. That was my opening speech with the kids. It's hey, we had to move inside, change up plans. I know you've been working hard rehearsing for the promotion. How to enter and how to exit and how to sit, but. Stuff happens, and it's okay. That's life. Yeah. You just got to learn how to just, dust yourself up and just get up and try to.
I'm like, whoa! Is that the third song?
She was I am, whatever you say.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We went to the cast at graduation, and the lady, she was like, "Let's rap," and she kept saying inspirational music, and then she was like, "Who said that?" And it was kind of interactive. And then here we are, kind of similar.
Yeah. So. Are you saying that she's about to give us one of those right now?
She had two already.
I said, you guys can't cry over spilled milk. It happened. You got to just move on. So that was just a nice way to kind of, start off our promotion ceremony. Is if you take one thing that we learned from this is things happen. You just got to,
And this is the most.
Have patience, have sabr, and move on. goes on.
These kids are very resilient. They've been through a pandemic.
Yes.
Something that we've never, like, as adults, we struggled with. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So if they can go through that, they can go through anything.
Right.
So.
For sure. So, any final word, final comments, anything you want to mention?
Just thank you for having me and allowing me to just kind of give my story. And with UHF, we're always looking for volunteers to help and to do great things locally or internationally. So we're open to having any of the viewers who are interested in being part of our team, part of our volunteer membership. So just reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook or send us an email. And we'll welcome you with open arms. So, but thank you, and
Thank you.
life is short, and we just gotta do what's best for the greater good and make a difference. Like you always ask yourself every single day, like, what am I doing to make a difference, to make an impact? Is it Groundhog Day every day? You're doing the same thing. You go to work, you come home. But first it starts at the home with your family, of course, making sure that your kids are are doing great and that they're provided with opportunities to do great things, and they're properly but they have a strong foundation. But then also, what are we doing to help humanity?
100%.
So
Well, the crowd just wanted to give you a round of applause.
So we would have overdid that today.
Yeah.
Because mashallah, tabarakallah.
No,
Great
for sure,
person.
for sure.
It is an honor to talk to you, honestly, and to have you on the show.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on. Hopefully we can have you come on again for future reference. Hopefully when your schedule is free. But you do have our contact information. Please reach out to us if you do need that support. It's one of those things where you let us know that you
Summertime,
need help.
I am more flexible.
Me too. Obviously
Same.
Yeah.
being teachers. So let us know honestly, and we can help out if you feel like you need the extra hands. We'll be more than happy to help you
We
out.
have a lot of young boys too.
Yeah. That's what I want these guys. I mean, they want to too. I'll
Right,
be honest
of
with you.
course.
There's a lot of
Just
good
looking
kids out there.
for
right.
you
And it's
to.
all about one thing that UHF focuses on is the youth. Like, how can we really get the youth more involved? And with our partnerships with with local colleges and organizations, it's all about the youth and making sure that they have opportunities to help and to make a difference.
Awesome.
A lot of them want to. It's just finding the place that facilitates it, and for you guys to do
Right.
that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, everybody, this was episode 39 of the Table Talk podcast. Again, we had Eman Ali Ahmed, principal of Salina Intermediate, in the building today. Inshallah, our next show will not be next week. It will be the following Tuesday. And inshallah, our guest will be Abdullah Hamoud, who is the mayor of Dearborn. We're going to definitely chat with him about the Hamtramck versus Dearborn game. I don't know if you know who won, by the way.
It was Hamtramck.
Yeah.
That's all right. We're family. That's okay. We're one big happy family.
For sure. You can tell she's a competitor. She could not look me in the eye.
No, when she said, maybe we'll verse Hamtramck, I'm like, who the hell plays volleyball? And then,
I looked at you. I was going to ask
I
her.
looked at you too. I'm gonna let's go. We gotta make a team.
There you go. But thank you guys for watch, or that will eventually watch. Of course, you can listen to it on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Obviously, watch it under Oz Media's YouTube page. And again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having
and we will see you all in a couple of weeks, inshallah.